Hi, my name is Jeniffer Сейнт. I'm the author of Aриадна, and I'm really pleased today to be answering some questions about the novel. It's a legend from ancient Greek mythology, which many people will be familiar with, the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. But this is told from a perspective that you haven't seen before. This is told through the eyes of the woman who made it happen, the woman who saved a hero, and that woman is Aриадна. She's a Cretan princess who grows up in the palace of Knossos, hearing the terrifying bellows of the monstrous Minotaur from beneath the palace floor, where he's imprisoned in a dark labyrinth from which no one can escape. When Theseus, the Prince of Athens, arrives as tribute to the beast, Aриадна faces a decision. Should she risk everything and betray her father and her kingdom in order to help Theseus bring the slaughter to an end? And if she does so, will she find herself sacrificed to her lover's ambition? So this is not the story of a hero's quest. This is a story about sisterhood and about motherhood. It's a story about love, heartbreak, betrayal, hope, optimism, and ultimately about the strength of women in a society where the odds are overwhelmingly stacked against them, a cruel world ruled according to the merciless whims of gods and men alike. Well, it may or may not come as a surprise to people to find that the stories of heroes that we grew up with actually have so much more darkness bubbling under the surface than perhaps we even realised. So when we have brave heroes like Theseus or Jason or Heracles, when we examine them again, and particularly when we come to them from the perspective of the women that they encountered, we find that these are not heroes as we would think of heroes today, brave, noble, selfless. These are men who are on a quest for glory, fame, and immortality. And that means behaving with a certain ruthlessness and brutality, leaving a lot of devastation and destruction behind them in their quest for glory. So there is a lot to be discovered about both what it means to be a hero and what it means to be the woman who is loved or not by a hero. And I think that when we turn these stories around and we look at them through fresh eyes, we can find that there is so much more to discover in them, and these stories become so much more rich and so much more rewarding, and we find that they are so relevant to a modern 21st century reader when we come back to them and we look at them in this way. And actually, Greek mythology is something that I've loved since I was a young child. So I've always been fascinated by it. I've always loved the stories and loved to visit the sites of ancient ruins, to see mosaics, to see artworks, to see frescoes depicting scenes from these famous myths. And as soon as I was old enough to, I went on to study classics at sixth form college and at university so that I could enrich and deepen my understanding of it. So it's really been a lifelong passion of mine. There are so many myths that I love, and it changes all the time. But the one that I'm currently most preoccupied with is a myth that I am currently writing a version of right now, which is the story of a heroine who is extremely unique in Greek mythology as the only woman to have joined Jason and the Argonauts. And that's the story of Atalanta. Born a disappointment to her parents, left on a mountainside to die, but she survived and became one of the most ferocious and compelling heroines of Greek mythology. And I think that there are so many fascinating, interesting women just waiting on the sidelines, waiting in the shadows of these stories that we know, and waiting for their stories to be told. So I hope that you enjoy Aриадна, and I hope that you enjoy some of my stories about some of the other women of Greek mythology in the future just as much.